My name is Kian, and in this video I'm gonna share my experience of how I designed a basic but very efficient drip irrigation system, and I'm gonna go over all the basic components I used. Your water supply is where you start designing your drip irrigation system. That's where you install your faucet timer, which will allow you to create a schedule so water runs automatically into your tubing at a specific time during the day for your desired number of days in a week. I'll go over more details about the faucet timer later in this video, but for now, let's talk about the tubing and the attachments that I've used. I have mainly used Rainbird irrigation supplies because they are very easy to use and they are also available in most hardware stores. First of all, I use Rainbird half-inch tubing, which is in black color. You use this to run water from your water supply to your planting areas. I also use Rainbird half-inch emitter tubing, which is in brown color. You use this to drip water into the soil. There are emitters on it, and depending on the type of tubing that you have, they could be spaced 6 inches apart, 12 inches apart, or 18 inches apart. Mine are 12 inches apart. These are designed to allow clog-resistant flow, meaning that they will prevent plant roots and dirt from clogging them. This is how the emitters look like from inside. Use these barbed couplings to attach black and brown tubings. You can use a utility knife to cut the tubing, but it's easier with this tubing cutter. You simply push the barbed coupling into the tubing. It requires a lot of force, but the trick is you can use a lighter to make it a little bit smoother. I use the 1/4-inch tubing for my garden beds where I plant herbs. As you can see, there is the half-inch tubing here, and then everything else is 1/4-inch tubing that is connected to it. Now, if you are not using part of your garden bed for some time during the year, or if you're planning to plant something but you haven't yet, you can use shut-off valves in the middle of the 1/4-inch tubing to stop water from covering the unused area of your garden bed. As you can see, all tubing is attached to the ground using these irrigation stakes. Rainbird sells these stakes, but I found it a little bit pricey for my purposes because I needed a lot of them. Luckily, I found these landscaping staples in a landscaping store. They are less expensive and they work great. Now let's talk about how I combine the tubing and attachment types we talked about to design my irrigation system. From the water supply, half-inch black tubing leads here to the first gardening area. Then this leads to the second gardening area. Then slightly from under the grass, it goes to the third gardening area. In order to pass the tube under the grassed area, I basically first used a piece of lumber and some white flour to draw a straight line. I then cut the grass with a garden spade and used a transplanter to widen the gap so the hose can fit in there. Once the tubing was in place, I closed the gap by pressing the soil and by adding additional soil on top of the tubing as needed. Then we have brown half-inch tubing, which transfers to black half-inch tubing and goes slightly under the grass. There's a T here. One side of it goes to this gardening area. The other side of it goes to that gardening area. and from here it reaches these. And this would be the end of the line for this side. Once you reach the end of your tubing, you can use one of these end closures. It would become something like this. So you would bend your tube and keep it with this end closure. You can optionally add some tape around to further strengthen it, but I personally opted for using simply a T. And to close the end of your 1/4 inch tubing, you can use one of these plugs. I personally used just another dripper. I attached one dripper from the 1/4 inch tubing to the 1/2 inch tubing at one side and another one at the other side. Now let's have a look at how I attached my faucet timer. The water pressure in my house is pretty high. That's why I've used a 25 psi pressure regulator to reduce the pressure so the irrigation tubing is not damaged over time. Then I have attached a Y-Garden brass hose so I can use my garden hose independently from the faucet timer. On one end of the Y-Garden brass hose, I have attached my Beehive faucet timer and a T hose to dripper adapter to the timer. The timer communicates through Bluetooth with its Wi-Fi adapter, which is plugged inside the house. The adapter in its turn communicates with the internet modem. That's how the faucet timer communicates with internet to get information about local weather conditions, as well as allow me to manage watering through Beehive phone app. Although I have a separate faucet in the front yard, I did not use this one and connected the front yard to the same irrigation system from the backyard. This allowed me to use one single timer rather than having a separate timer for the front yard. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Let me know if you have any comments or questions in the comment section below. Thank you.